wearing all black.
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
Ain't no time for school today.
Hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut lob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with cart girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phil talking about a guy taking a shit in the cup.
Mahalo!
If we did fireside with Phil.
Fire at the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.
This is like the hardest part for me.
I know, every time.
So great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press podcast and YouTube show. We are out here at Castle Oaks, again, our home course, recording our weekly, sometimes bi-weekly podcast YouTube show. I'm JC. Today I'm joined with my co-host, Jeff. How's it going? What are we up to?
It's a beautiful day. If you can tell, we've changed our positioning here, where we're showing you a view of the driving range here out at Castle Oaks. So we wanted to hopefully get a little action behind us as we're telling you about our day and kind of what we've been going through and what we're going to do today. So,
well, and it's really to prepare you guys, for all the shit that you're going to watch on like Golf Channel in preparation for the 5th major championship, the TPC Sawgrass Players Championship, which I don't deem as a major at all.
I don't think so at all
But
either.
they are hyping it up like it is.
I think they have to, especially now that Tiger's not playing.
They've been hyping this thing up for months. I've heard about the fucking TPC the players for months. I've seen the same commercial of Rory McIlroy going, the longest walk in golf is from the 16th to the 17th tee. It's about 50 yards too long. Because they're hitting in this island green.
Yeah, I would agree. Everything you see on TV right now, even the little Golf Channel instructional clips, the 30-minute videos, they're all about that hole or about that course. It's like we had 2 other tournaments happen prior to this.
Big tournaments.
Yeah.
You have your PGA Tour, what is the stupid ones that are the
WGCs?
The WGCs. And then you've got all these elevated status events, like the Genesis, and then now we have Arnie's event over at Bay Hill. We've missed a couple weeks. I'm sorry, guys. But let's get into in preparation for the Players. I can't believe we're doing it. It looks kind of like the Players, right? It's beautiful out here.
It's very nice. It's actually a beautiful day.
It's
rain's coming next weekend, but
yes,
we're lucky this
we
weekend.
Definitely need some rain here at Castle Oaks, because Castle Oaks is playing at times. The greens were super hard a couple weeks ago, in a good way.
So they were softer yesterday.
Okay.
Balls were holding out of the rough. I would assume they'll probably be pretty good today as well. Looked like there was a lot of moisture still on the 18th green out here this morning. The fairways were still rock hard.
Awesome.
So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But so let's get into Patrick Reed. I mean, after the Brooks Koepka's comments, he just goes out and, through all the heat, goes out and wins.
He legitimately doesn't give a fuck.
At all.
I mean, I have a T-shirt that says 0 fucks given on the back. He should wear that because there's a lot of haters, including us at times.
True, yes.
And there's a lot of haters on the course, loud, vocal haters, and that guy just powers through.
And he does it in a way that just, I mean, I'll give him credit. He's a really good golfer, but really stepped up and just kind of shut everyone up. I know he didn't play great this week, but I don't know.
It was tough this week, though. I mean,
it was
those guys
incredible.
Were struggling. That course was hard. It was windy. They let it dry out.
You know what the best part about us doing the Aloha Press podcast is we can really not like someone, and when they win, we can give them absolutely 30 seconds. Like, well, he played great. All right, let's move on.
Hey, at least we knew his name. Half the
We
time
know
don't
his
know the
name.
name.
Well, when you're in the news all that often, you kind of have to know your name. I mean, you're labeled one of the biggest cheaters in the PGA Tour golf. You kind of get to be the topic of many different things. But I'm tired of talking about him. So.
Yeah, he won. Whatever.
He won. Now, Terrell Haddon.
So that guy's pure entertainment.
He is absolutely pure entertainment. And the one thing I enjoy the most, I don't know if you heard about the Paul Azinger comments that he made on the broadcast about how essentially the PGA Tour is like the highest level, and the other tours weren't as important, and the win shouldn't even, like, I don't think he said the win shouldn't count, but like
he hinted about that a couple times about
Yes.
how this is the biggest shot in his life since he's never won on the PGA Tour and that type of stuff. He did talk
Yes.
quite a bit about it, and I think they even started the interview after he won with that.
Yes, which is I understand the PGA Tour is absolutely where the best players in the world play, not the best players in the world at times will play all over the world, but the PGA Tour is really shoving it down our throat, thinking that they're the best tour in golf, and at times they are, but they're talking about like Tommy Fleetwood and all these European tour guys who just don't play over here. One, it's not their home country, and two, it's not that important to them.
No, and believe me, there are some PGA Tour events throughout the year that are just trash,
I
absolute trash.
I mean,
you know, and the guys go play other places. So it's at times the PGA Tour has the best events in the world,
Right.
Because they get the best players. But that happens once a month, once every couple months, you know, and they play 3 or 4 times a month. So
it's just not as I don't know. I thought it was funny, some of his comments, and now the European tour guys are just fucking kicking some ass.
well, I'm glad he won yesterday.
Me too.
Really, because he was melting down. Like
Everyone was melting down.
some
Like-
people keep it inside. He doesn't.
That's true. Brooks
kind of-
Koepka
it's
shot
kinda like
81
my brother.
on Saturday. It's like your brother?
When my brother starts to melt down, clubs start flying, F
Well-
bombs, kicking things, slamming clubs. Like Terrell Hatton made it through without breaking a club, which I was surprised.
That's
He
yes.
didn't punch anybody, and he didn't get into a verbal altercation with the crowd. It was coming, but
Well,
it didn't happen.
I mean, he got in a verbal altercation, I think, with a pond, some of his clubs.
He did an FU thing that I haven't seen. You know, this is a normal one, right?
Yes.
He did the old school.
Yes.
this.
Brought it underneath.
And I'm like, where did that come from?
You're in the final group, buddy. Like, you're on national television, and you're making it very entertaining. I love it. Like, it's like WWE,
It
or
was,
WWF.
It was kind of. It was very entertaining for the bigger names kind of dropping out. Rory kind of blew it early, was out of the picture. So
Yeah.
there's about 5 guys that can win.
Yeah.
And legitimately came down to the last hole.
Well, shit, he shot 74 to win.
Yeah, and he played well the last 8 holes. Like he played solid golf. 18 tough hole, fairway, green, 2-putt, game over.
There's a lot of courses on the PGA Tour that I would want to play. I don't know if I'd want to play that one if the wind's blowing,
Yeah,
because
oh,
it is
God.
all carry.
It is, and to watch the tour pros, who those guys are better than anybody in the world, get nervous and essentially lay up second shots to par 4s because they're so
Yes.
afraid of the ball going in the water and just saying, I'm just going to chip and putt and try to get up and down
It's
from 150 yards.
Yes.
I mean, it's like pitching wedge, and they're fucking missing
know.
left. All of them, all 3 of them on one group missed at the same spot.
the cool thing about the event this weekend was it does not. They're like, oh, it was major championship conditions, which I don't believe so because Tiger Woods wasn't playing. But it was cool to see when wind gets involved and the course conditions get really dried out and the greens are hard and they're not receptive to things coming out of the rough, PGA Tour becomes very challenging. I mean, the average score on Saturday was 76.
Yeah. No, I love watching golf like that. Like that tournament kept me intrigued because I like to see guys struggle to make pars, have to have a tight, chipping
Yeah.
and putting game, and then essentially make bombs for birdies. It makes it pretty exciting. It's way better than driver, wedge, birdie, driver,
Yes.
wedge, birdie, or par 5s they're getting on in 2 with a fucking 8-iron.
Yeah, I
You know,
agree.
It was entertaining.
It was, and especially good for Terrell Hatton. I mean, that's absolutely awesome for him. I mean, a guy with that emotion to win on the PGA Tour, that's so cool.
Right, and he cleared 1.7 million.
I know. He in the the press conference afterwards with the Golf Channel guys, he was talking about how he's going to get after it. He was he had choked down some Arnie's favorite, Kettle One. He had a few shots of it, which was cool.
You can tell by his body type.
He is not a gym rat.
Yeah, he's much more likely to be seen hanging out the bar than the gym,
Yes.
which I like. I love guys like that.
Well, and they're talking about Arnie's sweater. They give him this nice. I can't remember the material it's made out of. I probably couldn't afford that, but It
Cashmere.
maybe it was cashmere. No, I think it was like kangaroo fur or some shit like that. Maybe not kangaroos. I'm sorry. I don't take any offense to the kangaroos. But it's a sweater that you can kind of you can grow into, and it'll adapt to your body.
Well, all those old man sweaters, they've got room for growth in the belly
Yes.
area. So
They sure do.
I like it. Let's talk. Totally off topic. Vests.
Vests.
So my dad,
Yes.
when we were in Pebble Beach, played 3 rounds of golf, and he's got this favorite vest. Right? It's maroon,
Yeah.
and it goes over every nice golf shirt he has, and he won't get rid of it.
Okay.
So my mom took him in when we went and played Pacific Grove. My dad skipped out, right? He was hurting, a little tired. My mom took him into Jim Nance's clothing store right there at the putting
Yes.
green at
Okay.
Pebble Beach. He couldn't find any that he liked. Okay, they had zippers on them. Or
He was wearing the one he liked.
right. So in the past, for you guys that don't know, my mom's hidden this vest from him, and he had a meltdown not being able to try to find it. So my mom had to give it back to him.
Okay.
So my sister approached me this weekend and was like, Jeff, get with JC and create a vest from the Aloha Press for Dad without any zippers.
A vest with no zippers.
So a pullover. It's got to be a pullover.
Okay.
Specifically, probably windbreaker material
Okay. With no,
zippers.
but it's a vest.
It's got to be a vest. It's comfort.
There's a lot of things that I've seen in my life. A lot of bad, a lot of good. Did he cut the sleeves off of it?
No, it's sleeveless. I don't. There's some things
Your
you can't explain.
Your dad's wardrobe is similar to Bill Belichick's.
Yes, I think my brother might have made that comparison in the past.
I mean, I love it. I mean, he brings a fresh new look.
Some of it might be superstition, maybe. The other's comfort. It doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees or if it's 90 degrees. He's wearing
it.
He's wearing the vest.
Yes.
Never long sleeves.
Never.
So my sister just simply asked that we try to create him something.
And that I think we can do it.
So do I.
I accept the challenge. Papa John, I accept the challenge. We're gonna get you a new zipperless. Can I have pockets?
Oh yeah, I think his might have pockets down here.
Okay.
It's just the zipper. He doesn't
Zipperless
like the zipper.
pullover vest. So any of you listeners out there, okay, if you've got a favorite vest, okay, that you think the Aloha Press logo would look good on it, maybe a Papa John logo. Maybe we'll get him a Papa John logo on it.
That'd be pretty good.
I think
That'd
that would
be really good, actually.
maybe a 3-wood on the
It's
chest.
the 3-wood king. I was
The
talking
3-wood
about.
king.
I was talking about his round of golf at Pebble yesterday with some of the guys, and they're like, "What'd your dad do on 18?" And I said, 3-wood, 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 chipping a putt for a par.
Unbelievable.
Right?
So let's take a break. This podcast YouTube show is sponsored by the Aloha Press shop. Okay, go get your Aloha Press gear. When this episode releases, I'm gonna be putting on the website our spring collection.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't even seen that yet.
I'm wearing some of it.
Well, I told you I like that.
Yeah,
long sleeve there.
the single palm. We're gonna do a spring collection. In preparation for the Masters. Okay, in preparation for the spring weather that apparently is the whole month of February, out here in California. But so go check it out. You can find our shop at www.thealohapress.com and go to the apparel, men's, women's accessory section of the store. So appreciate you guys checking that out. So let's move on, because I know we've touched on a little bit of the PGA Tour, which we normally do. Keep our fellow faithful listeners, patrons of the podcast, entertained with the most updated PGA Tour content.
And it shows that we actually do like the PGA Tour. We love watching
Yes,
golf. I mean,
we do love watching golf.
Yesterday was probably my ideal Sunday, right? I
Yeah.
woke up early, played golf in the dark almost in the morning, finished, had time to have some steak and eggs here
Okay.
at the course, make a little bit of money, go home, and, I'm showered in my sweats on the couch before noon, and then I watch golf all day.
It's really incredible. That's you just described one of the perfect days.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's fun. I really enjoy watching golf. So let's real quick. Players Championship this weekend. Okay, big purse, a lot of big names. I don't think due to the actual elevated status of this tournament. But it's the players. It's their Players Championship. It's the PGA Tour Championship. It's their big event. Who do you got? Last year was Rory McIlroy came down the stretch after playing really well in the winter, and took home the victory. And they won't shut up about it. God, that is the broadcast. How many times you got to mention the Players Championship and Rory McIlroy winning? Like, you forgot Brooks Koepka won a major championship last year,
I know.
and Tiger Woods won the Masters. So who do you got coming into the Players?
So it
With
might,
doing very little research.
yeah, just watching golf, blah blah blah. The guy didn't play that well this last week. He shot 81, his highest career PGA Tour score.
True.
But for some reason, I think Brooks is about to kind of just
Kind of go off.
step up one of these tournaments and get back into it. And I think that this is the one that he's going to win.
Brooks Koepka. Okay, I like the pick. Even with the, it seems like his knee's not great.
He's not great, but he played Sunday in tough conditions, played okay.
Played really well.
Yeah, I think that he's going to figure it out, and then obviously that course isn't going to get anywhere near as hard or
Probably
fast
not.
as the one they played this week at Arnie's. So I'm going to go with Brooks, but like I said, I haven't done much research.
Well,
I know I'm not picking Phil.
no. Did you see Phil's Instagram?
I couldn't even watch it. No. What
He's,
did he do?
So he didn't make the cut at Bay Hill. So he on Sunday, I don't know, it was at nighttime because there was lights on. He's on the 17th hole at TPC Sawgrass, hitting shots into hole 17.
Practicing?
Yes,
He needs it.
he needs a lot of practice.
Fucking Phil.
Crazy.
So who are you picking?
Not Phil Mickelson. I think, and this is, who am I going to pick? For me, like gut wise, and because I think it would be entertaining, but I think Mark Leishman would be a good pick. I know he was in the final group. He's been playing really well. I kind of like his style. He's one of those guys that would need a zipperless vest.
Absolutely. He's got the belly. He's got the belly for it. He was solid too.
He's been playing really well lately, and I think he's going to close it out. I mean, the guy, he hits it really far, pretty straight, and is a pretty good putter.
All right.
And I think the PGA Tour is going to speed up those greens a little bit, but they got to live under par. I don't think they were very happy with these scores.
Right. They
on Sunday.
They like the birdies in that.
Yes.
Game. We like the tougher golf. But you know what I saw this last week? Justin Rose.
Oh God.
Former number one in the world went back to his TaylorMade irons.
So I heard a rumor, probably not a rumor. I was listening to some golf podcasts. I think it was the Shotgun Star. If you guys listen, really good, informative podcast, and they heard a rumor that they shared on the podcast that Justin Rose might have thrown his Honma irons
Honma or something
in a
like that.
pond.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It went back to the TaylorMades.
I play the same irons as him, and they're amazing. So why would you go away from him? And he was winning.
I just don't like when you're the number one golfer in the world and you sign a club deal. Where else are you going to go? You can't. I mean, you're going to be Tiger Woods level where you're just going to stay number one for? I don't think so.
No, and it doesn't make sense. When you're playing that well, you think you wouldn't want to change a damn thing.
Well, you wouldn't want to change anything, but I don't think a company would want to associate yourself with a guy who is 42 years old. I think he's 42, playing newer clubs, and is the number one in the world. He's only going to go down.
And then this is going to happen.
And who is he going to blame? Is he going to blame his swing coach?
No.
Is he going to blame his shoes? No. Is he going to blame the course? No. He's blaming the clubs.
Yep. I don't know. I saw it, and I thought it was funny. I was like, well.
Well, what pisses me off is instead of him taking a deep breath, okay, instead of sacrificing those clubs into a dirty pond, which I'm assuming some minimum wage guy had to go and get in the pond to retrieve them.
Pretty Ricky's probably got him.
Probably. Why don't he donate those damn things to some charity? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So I said I wanted to talk about it later, but I actually wanted to talk it on the actual podcast, YouTube show. But I want to know, did the listeners, viewers, patrons, guests, viewers, the people that tuned in for the Instagram Live, did they enjoy it? I've heard a couple feedback. I've seen a couple memes of us in our robes.
I would imagine the memes are probably strong. The feedback I got when we got back into town and going back to work was all positive.
Well, I think like the one thing I heard about the Instagram Live was the ability for them to not have to download it or go to a different application that they don't normally go to, like their podcast. Because a lot of people that support our podcast have trouble. They're like, yeah, we see your clips, but we just don't. What's a podcast? Is it a radio show? So we had one of our listeners, okay, one of a future listener, attempted to listen to our show, and she was scanning the radio trying to find the
shit.
Aloha Press podcast.
That's a good try.
Shout out to Ryan Gillespie, but he had to go over and explain to his mom that this podcast is not a radio show; it's a podcast, and it's on her phone.
Well, the other thing I like about Instagram Live, which people told me was good, is that it gives them an update, right? Or it prompts them. It sends them a message that says, hey, the Aloha Press is going live.
Yes.
So they know that it's coming. It's not one of those things where when they scroll through their feed 5 hours later, they see it.
Oh yeah, it goes directly to their front of their screen. It dings, alerts them. You can open it
And
up.
people loved it. There were a few that were hesitant to comment. Why, I don't know. They were nervous. They didn't want to start a war or shit talking. But I think that's what it's all about.
I think it's great.
And like I was saying earlier, I love it when you get up and walk to the screen to see who's chiming in, who's talking. 26 viewers.
Yeah, something like
live.
that.
That's pretty cool.
It was
People
an
were
awesome
calling
show.
us.
Yeah, we were getting
You
texts and
So
that was cool. So I think it's something that we should do moving forward. I don't know how we're gonna do that all the time.
I don't know, but I might go live on the course today. If you've got
I think we
big
should.
putt or a big shot,
Well, and maybe are we doing Race to the Bottle?
absolutely.
Okay, let's update them after our trip, and
Okay.
we'll get to the trip. We don't want to bore our everyone. If you want to stay tuned to the Pebble Beach trip and hear some of our takes on that, we're gonna get to that. But after the 4 rounds of golf, where are we at? Because I don't even know.
Well, so I can recap the 3 rounds at Pebble.
Okay.
Spanish Bay, we pushed.
Okay.
I beat you at Pebble Beach.
Yes.
And I beat you at Spyglass.
Okay.
So I was down 3 going into the trip. I went 2 up on the trip that I remember. I don't know what happened at Pacific Grove because I don't have that scorecard.
So Pacific Grove, I think
I would
because
assume you beat me.
I assume so. I was almost gonna just say it's a wash.
We'll just start over.
Just because it was an unplanned trip, it just wasn't.
So Pacific Grove.
I think we
didn't
just
count. So I'm
practice
down 1.
round. I think you're down 1.
That's fair. I think that's.
Are
fair.
we're here at Castle Oaks today. We're gonna play in the Skins game. Are we Race to the Bottle? Is it in effect?
So here's the thing. It is.
Okay, I love
I
it.
cannot fucking beat you at Castle Oaks no matter what I shoot. But I'm playing pretty well right now, so I'm confident that I'll have a chance.
You're playing unbelievable.
I've just got to keep it rolling. Yeah.
Well, that's
Plus, I got a practice round in yesterday.
Yeah,
with
you
that
did.
that you didn't know about. So
it's it's funny. You go to your home course and you go in to check in and the starter goes, Jeff's cheating on you, right? And I'm like, fucking excuse me? You talking about my wife? What are we talking? My wife, Caitlin? No, Jeff. He was out here at the course yesterday playing golf without you. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, it was funny.
I snuck in around.
No, you got it.
And what was happening in Pebble Beach carried over. I was playing well. I hope it carries into today.
I think you will. I think you'll play really well. Just when you take me home, this place does magic tricks. Not
Yeah.
some magic at Pebble Beach, but so let's get to the trip. You guys listening, okay? This was a dream come true. This was something that I've heard a lot of excuses over the years why we could not go to Pebble Beach and play golf. I've heard it's too expensive. I've heard you got to stay 2 nights. I've heard, why would you blow all that money to walk around on some grass next to the beach? I've heard all of these excuses, and I've heard all of these people who play golf. I've heard people play golf for a living, never been to this resort. And I figured the Aloha Press, we're going to go through some changes here in the next couple months. you've got to live life like you're Aloha Pressing all the time. You got to go all in. Sometimes you got to triple down and put it on your credit card and just go to Pebble Beach.
And we did it.
Oh,
And Pebble Beach tried to take a little bit extra money from us
they
too.
did. That's okay.
Yeah. But hey, in the end, it was worth every single dollar and some. I mean, I rarely come home from trips, like we've talked about this before, where you're like, I want to go back, or I loved it so much. Depression was legit.
It was sad.
Mourning, and I would go back and spend the money again in a heartbeat. It's out of this world.
And sometimes, like, you put a dollar amount on some things, and staying at a hotel that you think the bugs might be in the room which we've done.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're driving to Pebble Beach, and Jeff's like, we stay in that hotel. Don't stay in that one.
Yeah, right.
That one's got bugs. And I'm like, what do you mean it's got bugs? It's just shit crawling on a wall.
That one had panties under the bed.
Like-
that one had a shoe. It's like, that's where we normally stay, though.
Yes, that's
$99.99.
I know, and it's something to be said to check in, and legitimately the only door I opened all week was my hotel room door.
Absolutely.
Like,
We didn't move luggage. We didn't get our own ice for the room. We didn't do anything.
there was people to put you to bed.
It's when they turned down the sheets.
They turned down the
they had a
sheets, gave you
pillow,
some water.
different pillow options. I think
Incredible.
at one point they must have so many employees because I thought they were watching us on camera because they're always there. They like at the right time. Like you get back from a long round of golf, you shower, change. Next thing you know, they're at your door with a bag of ice. Here you go, sir. Would you like to make your cocktails now? Absolutely, I would.
Sure would. Would you like another towel? I see you put your first towel on the ground. Thank you so much. Like, it's just the hospitality was unreal.
Well,
I've never stayed at something like that.
Then you get a
before.
guy like my dad who they offer ice to. And
Yes.
he says, no, I'll get it myself, because he's an old-fashioned guy.
Yeah, well,
so,
pride.
So we're in our room drinking cocktails, hanging out. Dad shows up with an empty ice bucket. Where the fuck did you get that ice? I can't find it. I don't know, Dad. They bring it to us.
They offer to bring it to you, and then you try and tip them, and they're like, whoa. You already tipped us. And I'm like, excuse me? They're like, your tip's included in the price you paid. And I'm like, I feel like I need to pay you.
Right? You still feel bad. You feel like that you got to give them something.
Well, because at times I'm sitting there talking with some of the staff and making a couple comments, and they're just normal people like we are.
Yeah.
We don't have that elevated status. We don't have the same wad in our wallet or maybe some of the style credit cards, but it was so cool, and it was cool to treat them well, and it was cool to see just the hospitality.
Well, you know what I thought was cool is that you're at this resort and you're around people that have tons of money, ungodly amounts, way more than us, pulling up in our Dodge pickup. At one point, we saw NFL players, superstar.
Yeah, highest paid middle linebacker at one point in time.
Nobody cared that Von Miller and his buddies were hanging out at the same resort because the other people have more money than them. Like usually you'd see people flocking to him, trying to get autographs.
It was, yeah, because like your brother were riding the shuttle back to the resort, and your brother's like, "There's Von Miller." I'm like, "That's not Von Miller." He's like, "Yeah, it was," and I'm like, "There's like one dude around him," like, because it's not. I guess it's not anything new.
And it kind of, I guess it is like a little safety spot for people like to go get away. Nobody bothers you.
Well,
You relax.
That's the thing. I responded to your brother. I'm like, maybe he'll want to come on the podcast. And your brother's like, maybe he doesn't want to be bothered. And I'm like, and he's like, why would you want him on the podcast? I'm like, I don't know. Trying to grow this thing.
It would have been pretty good, but you made some good connections.
Yeah, we made a few connections, and the cool thing about just going there and experience it was, like you said, the connections, but also like just being a part of it. And some of the cool things for us, we were sitting there after our first round of golf, and we're sitting in the lobby, and they're talking about the bagpipe, the guy that's going to play the bagpipes coming up hole 2, my favorite hole at Spanish Bay. Me and Jeff look at each other, and this is something we don't share a lot because this is kind of our outlet. But the cool thing that we talked about was, how did I already get mud on my pants? The cool thing that we talked about was the only and the last time we ever heard bagpipes was at a funeral.
Yeah, that's the only time we hear them.
That's the and we're normally dressed up in our shiny shoes and our flat bill hats, and not the normal flat bill hats, but going to law enforcement's funerals.
Yep.
And to be there on vacation, hearing that music in a positive way was
And
incredible.
It was super positive because the fact that they're coming up the hole where you made your first eagle in golf.
That's true. So let's get into day one. We played at Spanish Bay. It's on 17 Mile Drive. What 16 out of the 18 holes you can see the ocean. You're next to the ocean. Someone was explaining that it wasn't like a link style course, but it felt pretty linksy.
Well, it's got the dunes, no trees.
No trees at all.
It's just dunes and bushes, exposed as all hell to the ocean and to the conditions. I mean, out of the days we played, that was the windiest by far. 40-mile-an-hour gusts at times. It was windy. It was a fun course. I had a good time. It was a perfect course for us to start our trip.
I think so. And, to be able to wake up that next morning, have some breakfast, kind of, shake off some of the I wasn't hungover, but someone might have been.
The travel from the night before and the hangout.
But then be able to step on the number one tee, and you're just thrown into, you're on 17-mile drive. It really opens you up to, this is Monterey. This is Pebble Beach. You're here, and you're on the course.
Well,
you're
that
off.
first hole's no joke. It's dead into the teeth of the wind, long par 5. Sorry, not that long.
It wasn't that long, but
into the wind, and the green surrounding the green is just trash. So you've got to get it either just short or on it.
Yeah, and it was a challenging hole. It was our first experience with a caddy.
Yeah.
So shout out to our caddies,
What's
Tim
up,
Tipton
Richter?
and John. I don't know what John's last name is. I don't think he wants to
I don't know
share
John's
that.
last name. And Mark was a good guy the last 2 days for us. He was awesome.
So we're on number one tee, and we hit our drives, and we're off. And I turn to walk to the cart, and the caddy's like, "Give me your club," and I'm like, "No, I'll put it back." And he's like, "Give me your club." He's like, "You're walking. Go!" He was yelling at me to
Right? He's like, "You dumb fuck. This is what you paid for. This is the experience. Go walk down the course.
Go walk down.
I'll
You don't
take
have to
care
worry
of you."
about anything. Just walk. Just walk towards your golf ball and enjoy the surroundings.
Yep.
Because when you're walking down number one, it's like you're walking from there to Hawaii. It's just all ocean. It's these crashing waves. It was so cool.
And we were so excited. You're light as a feather when you're walking. Those were the easiest 3 days of walking.
At one point in time, I was skipping, and I had to stop because I was like, someone's going to film us.
This is getting weird.
It's getting real creepy. So, Spanish Bay, takeaway. It was a great starting course. I know you've had some time to think about it. What was a couple of your favorite holes? Or what? I mean, what do you I already have mine.
So there's 2 holes that I remember at Spanish Bay.
Okay.
One that I thought was pretty cool was the par 3, stupid fly, along the ocean, windy as all hell, humongous green, surrounded by bunkers. I think we were punching 7 irons, 130 yards. That's how windy it was. So I remember that one, and then I remember 18. But I remember 18 more for the fact that we hit bombs because our caddy told us just to do that, and your caddy aimed you in a direction to be safe with your stroke because we were tied up in the 2-man game.
Yes.
And he aimed you into a different fairway, into some bushes.
Well, in his defense, I was hitting these pull hooks.
Right? He was
With
playing
2
for
iron.
he's playing for your miss to
Yes.
be your normal shot. But no, that hole just to bomb it like me and my brother did down there, and then windy ass second shot, come a little short, but I got up and down for the birdie to win the first day and get myself some free drinks and lunch.
All right. There was a lot of memories on that course because the course condition was unbelievable.
Yeah.
To be on the ocean like that and to be exposed, I mean, there's nothing to protect that course out there.
No, and you know what? Obviously, it's hard to hit golf shots in that.
Yes.
You're clubbing 2 clubs up, 2 clubs down if you're downwind. But I think it was even harder to putt. The ball was legitimately moving, and it added break or it took break away.
True.
Based on where you're putting, because everything's so exposed that it was tough. I mean, the caddies helped us a bunch.
Absolutely. And that's where I think everyone's like, oh, you guys got like, why do you need a caddy? Like, you've got a laser in your pocket, carry your bag, save the money. And I'm like, we just spent all this money. I need to know where the putt's gonna go, especially in 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, or blind tee shots. Where do
Where
I
the
need
trouble's
to aim
at.
this? Where am I going to get in trouble? What's the club to hit? Most of the time, they knew before we'd walk up to the team. They'd have the club for us. Hey, here's a 3-iron.
And
here's 2-iron. Here's
we'll
your driver.
we'll get into this, but like out of the 3 days we needed a caddy the most, I think day one was in that wind. Like at Pebble Beach, we kind of knew what shots we were going to hit, and we knew kind of where things were because we'd been there before. But for a course that we'd never been on, I think they were a huge help.
Yeah,
especially in the wind. It was just that. I mean, when your caddy hands you, says, "What's your number? What's the number you like to hit in?" And I'm like, 120. And he's like, "Are you gonna wanna hit driver, 7-iron, and then a pitching wedge?" And I'm like, "What?" I go, "No, it's a par 5. I'm gonna hit driver, and I'm gonna pound through it into the wind, and I'm gonna get there in 2." And he's like, "What's your handicap?" Yeah, you're gonna hit driver, 7-iron, 9-iron,
well, maybe
and chip in for a birdie.
Was the I'm going to shoot 68 JC talking after the first 2 holes.
That was
because when you chip in and hole out and you're 3 under through 2, confidence was high.
Confidence was super high.
You almost chipped in on 3. I mean,
I did.
So
Spanish Bay was so much fun. And I enjoy the struggle at times in the wind. Because you got the real teeth of the golf course, and you got the way it was designed. And going back into, there's 3 holes at Spanish Bay that go into, the trees, and we're almost like, oh, thank God. We get a little break from the wind and some of the colder temperatures. Sun came out.
The wind exposes you if you hit a bad shot. That is for sure. Because there were some holes, the couple holes, one was a par 5, one was a par 4, straight back into the ocean. And I mean, you try to I'm going to pound a 3-iron, keep it low.
Well, we stepped on the tee box. It was hole 4, and it was 380. And we're like, 380, no problem. Driver, right? And he's like, sure, go ahead and hit driver. Don't hit a high one. And we're like, what? He's like, don't hit it high. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, you peel one out there, hit it. You think you're hitting a little cut, and that wind just picked it up and threw it out of bounds.
I mean, it goes
threw
farther
it in the water
sideways than it went straight.
Yes. And it was just like, okay, time to listen to the caddy again.
Yeah. Yeah, that wind was no joke.
But, all right, moving on. Pebble Beach. It's the reason why you go to this trip. I think that's why we went.
100%. I would not do that trip again if Pebble Beach wasn't on the playlist.
Yeah. Pebble Beach to me, and I'm crazy, and we'll get to it, but I'm so crazy. That's the only reason you go.
Yes. You play the other courses because it's part of the package.
Yes.
But Pebble Beach is why you're there.
As cool as Spanish Bay was, and how much fun it was, and how much I do want to go back and play Spanish Bay, Pebble Beach, if that's not on your bucket list and you don't go play that course, you absolutely are just, why are you even playing golf?
Exactly.
Because when Jim Nance says, hole 1, it's not a great hole. It's a good hole. It is true.
Very true.
Oh, my God. That course it's at a magnitude that is overwhelming. It's pro shop, tee box. We're standing on the tee box. Starter comes up and goes, boys, got a lot of groups out here today. We need to keep you up at pace, okay? We want 4 hours and 15 minutes. And he was serious.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was 100 more groups behind us that needed to get through.
They will physically move your ass.
They will make you skip holes.
On that golf course, and we weren't skipping holes.
Oh, no, we were not. We paid the money to play and finish.
Yeah.
It was just overall, and you guys have all seen it. If you're listening to this podcast and you listened into 42 minutes of it, you know what Pebble Beach is. But being there and experiencing it, it was so much fun.
The nerves for just a normal round of golf with the guys were like you were playing in a tournament.
It was some of the more serious golf I've ever played.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think we had our first drink until the 13th hole.
True.
And, even with that one, it was milked until the end of the round. It was a grind. I was exhausted at the end of that day.
It was exhausting, and it wasn't for someone who didn't, it wasn't that hard of a course, which was crazy.
No, it's not.
When you step back and you think about it, you keep it in the fairway and you just play. And I think that the thing that we did all trip was we told ourselves we were gonna have fun and we wanted to shoot good scores. We wanted to have birdie attempts. I did not want to play like we were playing at Bay Hill this last week and just struggle all week. Pebble Beach was not that hard. There was a lot of birdie attempts. Shit, dude, the charity is loving you right now. Okay, I might have walked away with the trip with 2 eagles, but you had legitimate eagles.
I played well.
You played unbelievable.
And, I was very excited that I was able to do that because, like my brother said, the nerves and the anticipation and the anxiety was real.
It's so real.
Like, you want to do really, really good because you never know if you're going to come back.
Well, and you never know you're going to come back, but if you hit a bad shot, you might be taking out windows to a $27 million mansion.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not the toughest of course if you keep it in play, but when you miss there, that's when the big numbers can happen.
It's because your miss is the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly, right? There's no bailing out. That's when they force you to hit golf shots. You got to get up and down on the small greens. You got to miss in the right spot. But that's where having the caddy saves 5 to 10 strokes.
Oh, absolutely.
If they say long is an automatic bogey or double, in our heads, if we're playing by ourselves, I'm still going to attack that pin.
Yes.
With them, they give you a club that can't attack the pin.
Well, and that was the thing. That was the cool thing about we were off. In hole 1, we were off, and you guys can check out the Instagram live. We deep dove in Pebble Beach, which was fun. But the caddies really set you up, and they gave you numbers, and it wasn't always numbers to the flag. They're like, all right, like, I think this is a 9-iron. And I'm like, how many yards is it? He's like, don't worry about the yardage. I think it's a 9-iron. I'm like, okay. And it's because they're so good at their job, and they cared so much about our experience that they were taking in consideration our nerves.
Yeah.
Like, coming down hole 6, hitting. I mean, Jeff, you hit 3 hybrid, and putted for eagle, and made the putt
because my caddy told me to do that. He would not let me grab my driver,
which was awesome.
Right? He knew. He's like, this is going to put you 220, 230 out. Hit the same club twice. You'll be putting. All right, and he, aim it at your second shot at this because it's blind.
Yep,
I did it.
And it works out.
And had I been playing on my own, I probably would have tried to bomb driver, had 7-iron up the hill.
Yep.
Would have flared it.
You'd have done what I did.
In the Pacific.
Yes.
In that little pond they called the Pacific.
Yes.
Right?
Where the closest relief is Honolulu, Hawaii.
So they were awesome. And Mark, my caddy out there, especially when he started to kind of realize I was playing pretty well, he wanted to keep me going.
Well, and in the caddy experience alone, they're telling you, like, this is the kind of shot you want to hit. This is where the trouble's at. This is where you want to stay away from. This is what's going to get you on the green and 2 and give you that opportunity. 300-yard hole up the hill. I'm going driver, right? I think it's hole.
Talking about 11?
I think 11.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But
11 is short one up the hill.
And there's bunkers everywhere. He's like, you're going to hit driver? So you want to hit a 30-yard bunker shot? And I'm like, he's like, how many of those do you practice a day? And I'm like, 0. He's like, take your stupid 2-iron, hit it 220 yards, and give you an 80-yard shot. I rolled it into a bunker and had an 80-yard bunker shot, but you put it on these small greens, and then you're putting for a birdie, you're putting for a par.
Yep.
And so, looking back on Pebble Beach, you had a lot of memories, okay? To include on 18 where I'm putting for bogey, and your caddy goes, "Can you putt out, please?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" Hey, the guy's going for an eagle on 18 at Pebble Beach. I'm like, of course I'm going to putt out. Like, I'm not going to pull a Justin Rose and freaking plumb bob your ass and let you just wait. I'm going to putt out and see this great finish.
So the 18th tee shot I've been waiting for all day, right? That, in my opinion, that's the shot I wanted to hit the most. Before we got there, while we were there, like, I've been waiting for it. And, we get off the 17th, and I've got this in my head. I don't know exactly where I'm at with my score. Usually I do, but we're not keeping the scorecard really. Yeah. I knew I was right around par. I didn't know what, but I knew I was going to hit the cutter off the ocean.
Yes.
Right? It's the cutter off the pond here at 18 at
Yeah.
Castle Oaks. I was hitting the cutter off the ocean, nothing else, swing as hard as I fucking can. Pulled it off.
Dude, you hit an unbelievable
Right?
shot.
Bombed it. Walk up to that second shot. Mark's like, all right, come on, one more big guy. And it was like 215 to the green.
Yeah.
Skinny little opening in the green, bunker right, ocean left.
Giant tree on the right.
Normally, if I'm just like, okay, I need to make par to save
Yeah.
save a round, I'm laying up. Ain't no fucking time for laying up at Pebble Beach.
Absolutely not.
So I grab 4-iron, and he looks at me and he goes, "It's not enough." I'm like, "What do you mean it's not enough? There's plenty of club." Nah, there's some breeze coming off the ocean. Fucking hit the 3-iron. So I did. 15, 20 feet past the flag, rolled it up on there, and yeah, by far my most memorable hole.
And it was amazing. Hole 18 did not go as well as it did for Jeff because I of course putted out before him. I think it took a 7.
JC lost a ball on 18.
I lost 2 golf balls. So tee
One was
shot
in play.
18. No, yes, one was in play. So you're 7 on this iconic hole, and it's just so exciting. A lot of emotions. We're taking photographs. We've got video all day of the beautiful course. I'm coming down in the stretch where I'm trying to beat Brian, Jeff's brother, and Jeff just pounds one, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking amazing. It's gonna look great on camera. I step up. I go, you know what? I'm gonna hit the same shot. Little cutter off the ocean. Wind's gonna blow it. I hit the best drive of my life. What a 5-yard draw. Dead in the Pacific. Like, not even like close. Just solid contact, swung as hard as I could, just dead pull. Just dead pull draw. Which is fine.
You did smoke it.
Laid up with a 4-iron to about 70 yards. Pumped into the tree that was guarding the green. The caddy looks at me and goes, "You're going to have to hit another one. I didn't see it come down. Unless you want to wait till the next storm,
Yeah, till the next storm.
you're going to have to play with this orange ball."
That's when he threw the orange ball to
Yes.
you again.
So, for me, the most memorable hole for me was hole 7. That to me in golf, some of my favorite holes are short par 3s. And to me, being there at Pebble Beach, the nerves were there
That was the most nervous shot of
that
the day.
I've ever hit in my life.
of the day. Like, legitimately, the club felt like a feather in my hand.
And the reason for me it was the hardest shot was I think our caddy said the number's 85. And I'm looking at it and I go, it's way farther than 85. It's 105. He goes, it's playing 85 downhill, no wind. The sun was creeping out. And if you're not familiar with this hole, it's look it up. Jesus Christ. It's the most beautiful hole in golf. Short part, the green is tiny.
And that flag was tucked.
Tucked
Middle
right.
I mean, on the cliff.
And I hate to say it, but that's the one pin I absolutely did not want to go after.
No.
I am dead in the middle of the green. And all I kept thinking about is just hit your 85-yard shot. Little sand wedge, little knockdown sand wedge. And when you pull it off, it feels amazing.
Yeah, you hit a really good one.
You hit a good one, too.
I was so nervous, though, with the distance. I came up a little short on the front of the green.
Yeah.
But the 2-putts on that, the green's so small, it's not that hard to 2-putt because
It
you're
was-
only 20 feet away.
And looking back, it was such an easy par.
Yeah.
But it's one of those shots that you just think in the back of your head, you're like, I could easily nip this thing a little close to the hosel and just blade it cold shank into the ocean right here.
Well, and, sometimes the beauty and the surroundings get you like they did my brother.
Absolutely.
He looks at you and he's like, how the fuck do you just block all that shit out and hit a golf shot?
That's what was incredible.
Because, you're looking at, like you said, the most beautiful golf hole in the world.
It's the best golf hole I ever played.
And it got to my brother, and he chunked his wedgie into the sand in front and got a fried egg.
And walked away with a double.
Yeah, and shit went downhill from there on what is the shortest, easiest shot.
Well, and it was just truly incredible. And I knew we had to slow down and take it all in. And Jeff, that was the best round of golf I've ever seen you play. I've seen you shoot 63 at Castle Oaks. I thought that was the best round of golf I've ever seen you play. This was the best round of golf because it was at times distracting. The views, just the memories that go into your head of like, I've seen Tiger hit this shot. I've seen idiots like Justin Timberlake hit this shot on hole 7. I mean, it was incredible.
Well, yeah, and like I mean, when you get to 17, and we're over there looking for your ball, and you see the Tom Watson plaque,
Yes.
and that replays every year they go
Yes.
to Pebble Beach, and you're like, this is legit. This is the real deal. You know, besides not playing the back tees, it's the real deal.
It's absolutely the real deal. And what was incredible for me was everyone in our group that day had some really cool memories.
Oh yeah.
And that was unique. We definitely we didn't get the best weather, but we had no wind, which was huge. I can't imagine playing that course in 30, 40 mile an hour winds.
That would have been to hit a green would have been a victory.
It would have been a real because the green when they talk about on the telecast how small the greens are. If you play any municipal golf course, at times cut your municipal golf course green in half.
Yeah, you could legitimately lay the flagstick down, and it'd be from one end to the other end on some of those
Yeah.
greens.
It was absolutely incredible how tiny they are, but that's part of the challenge.
Yeah, but Pebble was unlike anything I've ever played in my life, and I could never imagine saying anywhere else is better than that.
I can't imagine. So wrapping up Pebble Beach, your hole is 18.
Yep.
That's awesome. It was a cool day. I was so excited coming off 18. I didn't play my best. At times, you have to remember that it's just a golf course, and I failed to remember that at times.
It's hard.
It's hard as shit.
It really is hard. I mean, and you know, as you're going and your caddy's like, oh, there's Bing Crosby's house. Oh, there's Gary McCord's house. Oh, here's a lot. This is the only open lot on the course. It's going for $24 million. And you're like, this, like, where I come from, this doesn't make sense.
Well, how about when Mark, and I shouldn't use this name, but the caddies tell you certain facts, and there's some information that you're like, what? and they're like, you know, you just walk from Pebble Beach to what is it, Carmel?
Carmel.
Yeah, you walk to Carmel and back. I'm like, that's pretty cool. There's people on the beach. There's dogs running around. It was great. And then he goes, you know, hole 10, right? And I'm like, I have no clue. And he goes, you know what it's known for, right? And I'm like, dude, this is the first time I've ever been here. I've never even, come on, man. He's like, this is where everyone has sex. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this is like the most people have ever had sex on this green at Pebble Beach.
And he goes, it's only weird for the group that's waiting behind them.
Yeah. I'm like, excuse me?
And then I think Brian's like, well, if you're not into that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So that was kind of cool. But
yeah, no, the caddies, honestly, the caddies, we got lucky because we knew one, and he hooked us up with some good ones and his buddies, and they were with us every day.
yeah.
But they make you feel like you're a local. Like, I didn't feel out of place
No.
on the most important golf course, you know, that we've ever been to. They make you feel like you're just a normal dude.
Yeah, and it wasn't any like elevated like, oh, you guys are from Ione or Sutter Creek or whatever. Like, you guys aren't some big shot or anything. They don't give a shit.
No, they didn't at all. And they had. I would like to think that they had fun with us in our games and our bickering and our shit talking.
I think so.
Brian having seizures in the fairway.
Yes.
You know, the caddies at one point when they got comfortable enough got in on the shit talking.
Yes,
with
they
us.
started talking shit, and at one point in time, I asked our caddy, I'm like, because Brian was playing really good for a stretch of holes, because he was in every bunker though.
Yes,
He was getting up and down from everywhere, and our caddy's like, I gotta fucking rank another bunker. God damn it.
Yeah, when we saw him Monday morning at Spyglass, his shoulder was sore from making all the fucking bunkers the night before.
That was incredible. So moving on, Pebble Beach. I was so excited about the round of golf. I wanted to play again.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Good thing I didn't. I was so sore that night.
Yeah, you were ready for round 2 at Pebble.
Absolutely. So let's get into Spyglass. I hadn't heard a lot about Spyglass.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I noticed, and I on purpose did not do a lot of research on the golf course. You know, in Spanish Bay, I only did a lot of research at Pebble Beach just because it's so iconic, and I wanted to have those memories. Spyglass was one of those rounds of golf that everyone asked, like, oh, you're going to play Pebble? Are you playing Spyglass? And I was like, well, yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, like it should be fun. That place, legitimately, I don't want to, and again, I don't want to take anything away from Pebble Beach, but Spyglass, legitimately, looking back, was the nicest conditioned course I've ever played.
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. And we were first off.
Yes.
So we got it in its prime. I mean, not a fucking blemish out there.
There was not a footstep in trap.
No, and everything, and like we said, the maintenance guys were done.
Yep.
They had cleaned everything up from the day before. It was as close to playing on AstroTurf that I
Yeah.
can imagine. You never get a bad lie. You never see a fucking divot. You never see a bald spot. Everything's bright green.
It's bright green, and just imagine the way you see it on TV when these pros are playing golf courses. That's what it looks like. It is perfect.
Yeah, it was amazing. Plus, we got beautiful weather, sunshine.
Yep.
Very little wind.
And we got to play a challenging golf course. That was out of the we skipped one course.
Well, that's okay.
But we should touch on it. So after we played Pebble Beach, I wanted to play Pebble Beach again. And the replay rate, again, is only $330. And you got to carry your own bag, and you might not finish the round of golf. So instead, I talked to these guys into playing, they call it Poor Man's Pebble, Pacific Grove Golf Links. And it's the beginning of 17 Mile Drive. We've played it before. We've talked about it on the podcast. And we went out there, and we played another round of golf. I think it's a par 71. It's a really fun golf course.
It is. He talked us into this in the tap room at Pebble while we're sitting there having our after-round cocktail and lunch, and I'm kind of de-stressing from what is the most mentally grinding round of golf I've played in my life, thinking that, I'm done. Go back to the hotel, shower, change, have a good night, and then we say, fuck it, let's hop on the shuttle, let's go.
Well, I mean, you might have been drained, but me and Brian are like, we got to go out and play more. Just so excited to continue to play.
I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
I am. I'm glad we did it. We got paired up with Jordan, who's a
Yeah.
good guy. And, we got poured on at one point. The
Yeah.
worst weather we got was on the $50
The least
golf
expensive
course, so that's
golf.
okay.
Totally okay.
We made some birdies. We had some good shots. We took golf carts.
We definitely took
we
golf
weren't
carts.
walking that hole because that course. But, yeah, no, it was fun. I like that course. That's the second time we've played it together.
Yeah. It was a cool addition. So if you are going to go to Pebble Beach, go out, reach out and play Pacific Grove Golf Links. It's a cool track. It's one of those things that 8 holes are on the ocean, and it legitimately costs you less than what a caddy costs.
Yeah, yeah.
At Pebble
It's
Beach.
about half the price of what it costs just to get a caddy.
Yes.
Not even the tip.
Not even the tip.
And the first 9 holes is pretty rinky dink. Like, you're gonna look at it and go,
It's going to be rough.
this is dumb. There's chain link fences, there's apartment complexes.
Mobile home park.
Yeah, this is shitty. And then you're gonna get into 10 and 11. You're gonna like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah,
Back at Spanish Bay. It's kind of like Spanish
Yeah.
Bay.
You're back at Spanish Bay.
And then that last 9 coming in is amazing.
So let's again, Spyglass, unbelievable conditioning. It was our final day. We had to go home later that day, which I hate playing golf on our final day.
Yeah, well, we've made that decision. If we go back, we're
Yeah.
staying an extra day. Even if we don't golf,
Yes,
we are staying.
staying
that
another night,
Yeah.
celebrating it. My takeaway from Spyglass, it was the most difficult golf course we played throughout the trip. We got perfect conditions. The greens were perfect. The course was just unbelievable. Some of those holes you had to hit golf shots. There was no room for error.
No, long par 4s, twisting, turning, elevation changes, and when you miss at Spyglass and you go into the trees, you're in the shit.
You're in jail.
Ivy, down logs. Like, it's not made to be able to get out of.
No, it's the penalty might not be the Pacific Ocean, but it is the Monterey Pines.
Yeah.
And they absolutely will gobble up every golf shot. Like, every time I was in those things, I hit unbelievable recovery shots, but put my recovery shot, which I thought was good, put myself in a horrible position to get up and down.
Yeah, it put a premium on your T-ball at Spyglass because if you hit fairways, you had legitimate shots at birdies.
Yes.
If you didn't, you had legitimate double bogeys.
It brought, and the rough was thick.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough to get out of.
There were a billion bunkers surrounding the greens.
And just tough bunkers. I mean, I want to say like 2-story bunkers.
Yeah.
Like, you know that course we talked about down in what is that PGA Tour event where they had that like 2-story bunker that you had to get out of. Legitimately, Spyglass had one of those.
Well, and Spyglass did a good job. Pebble did too, but the fairway bunkers, they put them to where they creep into where fairway would be. So a lot of times you hit what you think is a good drive, and now you're in a bunker 190 yards out, and they make the lips just tall enough that a 5 or 6 iron is not happening. And you go
It
grab
truly
your
penalizes you.
8 or 9, and you hit it 150 yards down into the middle of the fairway and try to get up and down. You're done. I mean,
And it's a remarkable design. It was even when you were in the fairway, you had to be on the right side of the fairway, or you brought in, especially with some of those pins that were in those areas. Like, talk about false fronts, false backs.
those greens were no joke.
They were.
When the caddy tells you put it one foot for a 30-foot putt, and you're like, the fuck, yeah, right. And if you don't,
it's off the green into a bunker.
Mhm.
I think I putted it off the green into a bunker. I know I did.
If you did, I don't remember that.
It was a struggle. Well, and that's the thing. Like, the caddies did such a good job with us of making sure that when we were hitting approach shots, hey, listen, you got to keep this below the hole. If you don't, you bring in 3-putt a lot of the times.
Yep.
Because you're only having to putt it a foot. If you're in the rough, you've got to chip it a foot. And I mean, you're opening 60-degree wedges and just trying to slide underneath and just hit these perfect shots.
I will say though, because the conditions were so nice and the rough, it was thick, but it was like lush. It was pretty easy to chip and putt around there because the ball never sat down.
Well, and a lot of times when you're playing a course that doesn't have the same budget as Pebble Beach does, sometimes the rough is a little spotty.
Yeah, patchy.
It gets bumpy coming out of the fringe. It gets bumpy on the greens and stuff. This was just absolutely perfect.
You could like pick. We always try to pick a landing zone, right, for your chips. There, you knew it. You'd see the slope.
Yep.
You'd say, all right, all I have to do is hit it there. I don't have to worry. After that, I don't have to worry about anything else. It's going to roll to where it needs to go.
Yeah, it sure
and
does.
You do it, and most of the time you're inside 5 feet, putting for par.
And it was super. When you hit good golf shots, it was super gettable.
Yeah.
What'd you shoot there today, or at Spyglass?
74.
That's a really good 74.
And I played well. I think I had one bad hole.
It was
one hiccup.
Yeah, it was. That's the one course I really want to go back to.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And some of the shots you get to see the ocean a little bit, and the cool thing that we saw that no one talks about, but the course it's as prestigious and as I don't know if restricted is a good word, but Cypress Point. We were able to see 3 or 4 holes of Cypress Point from a distance, and we were with a caddy who had actually caddied out there and played out there 25 times.
Yeah, at one point we were like across the fence from Cypress.
Yeah, and just seeing kind of that, and it's compared to Augusta National, in I think Augusta, Pine Valley, and then Cypress Point's, as prestigious as it is, kind of cool to see.
Well, I can say, I know Cypress. Obviously, we'll probably never play it, but
yeah, we might.
In my opinion, Spyglass reminded me of Augusta. It's like the West Coast of Augusta. The way the trees are trimmed, different types of trees.
Yeah.
But the way they were trimmed, the way they line each hole, the condition. All it needed was some azaleas, and we were in Augusta at the Masters.
And just some of when you're in Monterey, Pebble Beach and stuff, you're playing such a linksy style courses. It's exposed to the wind. It's near the ocean. Spyglass, when it's in the trees, it's kind of in these neighborhoods, and just some of the par 3s when they bring in water was so cool. And you felt like a couple of those holes, I think it was hole 12, par 3, I shanked it into the bushes. They brought in water in a way that was kind of like Rays Creek. They had bunkers surrounding, and it was elevated, and you had to hit a perfect shot. And if it leaked right, it leaked the left a little bit, you're going to have a tough up and down. And I think your brother made par of that hole.
He had some good shots on the downhill par threes.
What?
I'm just thinking about the one.
The cold shank?
Maybe 15 or 16 when you shanked it way right, and the orange ball came back.
Oh my
out.
God! So we're playing at Pebble Beach, and I just hit a freaking laser beam dead right into. There's roads at Pebble Beach apparently that you got to avoid that they don't show on TV.
No, I'm talking about spyglass.
I know. I'm getting
okay.
there.
All right. Oh, okay.
So, caddy goes, well, I mean, you hit it out of bounds, lateral hazard, go and drop here. I'm like, dude, I don't have a golf ball. He's like, you don't carry a golf ball? I'm like, no, I'm not carrying an extra golf ball in my pants. Like, I'm not having that on camera. It's a weird bulge. Plus, I feel like I'm not. If I have a golf ball in my pocket, I feel like
You only have a golf ball in your pocket for one of two reasons, in my opinion. You're either not very confident in your game, or you're a cheater.
right. And that's so. He's like, all right, well, I only have this one golf ball. And I'm not going to get another golf ball because these caddies had now warmed up to us and we're a little bit more relaxed and talking shit to us. And he throws down this orange Callaway. And when I say orange, it was
Highlighter, neon.
oh my God, like it looked like a traffic cone out there. He throws it down and like shit. So I hit a pretty good shot and get up and down. I can't remember it wasn't a great score. I think it was a 7. But so I throw it back to him and that was my punishment. Every time I lost the golf ball, he would throw down this shitty orange Callaway golf ball, and I'd have to hit. And sure enough, I freaking shank one at Spyglass. And I go, give me the golf ball. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the orange one. He's like, good, because I was going to hand you this yellow one. It was the same fucking neon green. It was horrible.
Oh,
But shout out to John. He was funny. But
he was a good time. But you know what I remember the most at Spyglass is that me and you were partners that
yes.
day, right? And my brother hadn't won any of the first 2 rounds.
Neither did I.
And neither had you, but we're coming down the stretch and it's close again. Right?
Yes.
We're up 1, I think,
Yes.
going into 17. And Brian's feeling pretty confident. He hit a really good drive.
Super good
Bombed
drive.
it. I mean, probably had 60, 70 yards from the middle
Yeah.
of the fairway. You're in you're left of the bunker I'm in
Yeah.
the rough. We have to go over trees to a middle flag, over a bunker. I've got no chance. I hit the lip with my approach shot, trying to get out of the bunker, trying to hit a good one. So, they're probably going, fuck, we got a chance. We win this one. We win 18.
Yeah, they were talking shit walking down the fairway like, we just got to win these 2 and we're going to kick your ass. And
Then I watch you step up to your 80, 90-yard wedge shot out of the thick rough, hit it. Looks good. I think Caddy John is the only one who had an eye on it.
he had an eye on it.
And that motherfucker hits the stick and goes right in the hole for your second eagle of the week. And pretty sure Brian wanted to break a club at that point. Now that it was over.
It was incredible. It's this golf trip not only was super memorable. You had some great memories. I had some things happen to me. I've never had an eagle. I've been playing golf for 10 plus years and I've never holed out. I don't have a hole in one. I don't have a true eagle where you hit 2 shots and you put it on a par 5. So Spanish Bay you chip in like a 50-yard chip for birdie. You think, okay, that's pretty cool. And then you step up on hole 2 and you knock it in from like 105 with a sand wedge, and that's pretty cool. And then you're not playing the greatest round at Spyglass. It's pretty tough. I've been in the trees most of the day, and you hit a pretty good drive. And you've got a little wedge, and the caddy's like, just hit your normal shot. It's out of the rough. Keep it below the hole. And all I hear is I hit a great wedge shot, and all I hear is hit at the flag. And Jeff's like, you fucking made it again. God damn it. So that was cool. That was unbelievable. And as I'm walking up, your brother is standing there waiting for me to fix my divot and take my hole out of. And he's like, we can still win.
Yeah.
I can hold out from 65 yards. And I'm like, all right, Brian.
He had to hold out. He had some hope.
He had a chance.
But it was over, and then we got to play 18, which was just a fucking beautiful hole. Straight away, long as fuck.
Yeah.
Beautiful hole. Toughest green on the course.
Yeah.
It legitimately is like this.
It was the side of a cliff.
Yeah. How our balls, because we all 3 hit it above the hole. I don't know how they stayed. Because that wasn't even a 1-foot putt. That was a 1-inch putt.
Yeah, it was. The caddy said, if you don't make it, you're going to be 6 feet past.
Yeah.
And It's funny how we judge some of these professional players on Sundays, and they've got all the nerves and everything going, and we give them kind of some shit about leaving putts short. I really tried to leave it short, and I couldn't.
Well, I got to watch both of you guys, and so I was like, okay, because I was on a little different line, but the same slope,
True.
and I really wanted to make it.
Yeah.
I really did, but then I was like, I really don't want a 3-putt either, and I hit it a half an inch, and it maybe went by a foot. I mean, I kept it pretty reasonable, but that's just ridiculous.
I hit it a foot and went like 12 feet past.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and you don't see. I mean, yeah, it's on the side of the slope, but you still think in your head you got to give it something,
Right.
but you don't.
No, you don't.
So
It was incredible, and as we were at the resort and we were talking about the golf and our experiences and just the memories made, I don't care what the dollar amount is, the experiences, the videos that we're gonna take away. We're gonna release probably 3 episodes on our YouTube channel of our 3 experiences of the days, and if you haven't done it and you're scared, spend the money.
absolutely.
It's
Come back and pay it off, over time. But it's so worth it. It's worth it times 100.
absolutely. So, anything taken away from Pebble Beach? I know we've talked about planning more golf trips, but
Let's just say this: it's so worth it that in the beginning we said that we tried to make this a once every 4-year trip.
right,
By the end of the 3 days there, we're going back every year now.
we're sitting at dinner and Jeff's mom's like, "So, did you guys book next year's?" And I'm like, "Where? Here? It's totally doable."
Right?
And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, we are! Like, why
yeah.
not?"
Oh yeah, my brother called me the day after we got home, and we just talked about it. And it just like we said, it's not usually after vacations you don't really care about going back to the same spot. You're trying to find that
No.
next spot. That was just so epic that it's like, yeah, I want to go back there again.
It's like I almost wanted to call like one of those counseling people. Like, I got an issue.
I
Feeling
need some
depressed. I don't want to go back to work.
Work was fucking terrible.
Oh, it was horrible.
It was terrible. And then, I like that everybody wants to ask you about it and talk about it.
Yes.
But then it just gets you amped up. Like you start talking about it, showing them pictures. You're like, why am I here? Why am I here doing this? It's beautiful outside. It's 70 and sunny. Why can't I just go back?
Well,
How do I live that lifestyle?
I still have the like destinations and things that I want to do in my life, like places I want to go. I have on the weather app on my phone of like the weather, and I still check Pebble Beach's weather every day. Like, is it gonna rain tomorrow? Like, do you think we can like get away and maybe catch a round? Maybe Richter will come down and caddy for us.
So it rained on a Saturday at work, right? I don't
Yes.
know if it did.
Oh, yeah.
In the morning, it rained on me, and I was soaking wet, and I was in a short sleeve uniform, and I remember talking to my wife, and she's like, "Didn't you check the weather?" I'm like, "I haven't checked the weather app since we left Pebble Beach. I checked it 8 times a day before we went for 3 weeks, but I haven't checked it once since we got back because I don't care."
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So takeaway is if you haven't done it, spend the money and go. Just do it.
And don't get fooled and book the one that's 2 nights, 2 rounds without Pebble Beach. Book the one with Pebble Beach.
It's totally worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Play Pebble Beach and play Poor Man's Pebble too. In closing, any new news? Anything else we want to touch on?
It's cocktail time. It's lunch, breakfast time, and then we got a round of race to the bottle. I'm gonna try 0 for 3 at Castle Oaks in 2020 against you. So
It
I
is.
I gotta go shoot 62 today to win.
I think so. So let's any predictions for today, birdies? Want to make a little challenge for the taco
You
track?
know what? I'm fucking terrible. We're terrible when we make these predictions. How about
Horrible.
I predict you, you predict me.
Okay.
I see 2 birdies and an eagle out of you today.
Okay, I was gonna give you that one, but 2 birdies and an eagle, huh? So I was thinking about it, and after our Pebble Beach trip, I've eagled out with my lob wedge and my sand wedge. I got to eagle out with my gap wedge now. I'm picking out wedges.
I think you're gonna eagle one of the par 5s today.
That's the goal. I think I can get there in 2. For you, I'm gonna say you're gonna have 4 birdies on the back, and you're gonna have an eagle on the front.
All right. I take that right now.
4 birdies, 1 eagle. I think that's I think that's what you're gonna do.
Here's the other thing: no 3-putts today.
No 3 putts. The one thing I learned from playing down there was course management. Like, there's legitimately course management things that I've absolutely sworn I'm going to change at Castle Oaks. Because the reason I'm such a bad golfer at Castle Oaks is because I have the shittiest poor management in the world.
Yeah, well, and you'll hit 2 great shots and then try to bang this birdie in from 8 feet, miss it by 6 feet, and now you make your bogey, and you're sitting there going like, par should have been the absolute worst score I got on this hole.
Yes.
And now I'm walking away with a bogey, and now I'm pissed on the next hole. So then it compounds.
Yes. Then I'm pounding driver dead left,
Right.
hitting pull hooks.
So, course management, take
Yes.
your medicine, make your birdies when you can, hit fucking greens and hit bombs.
That's the whole goal. So I think we wrap it at that. Guys, really appreciate you guys watching and listening, downloading. The one thing that helps us out the most is sharing the podcast and the YouTube show. We are slowly growing. Shout out to everyone that's been tagging us and posting us on Instagram and Facebook. Really appreciate it. So in closing, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Aloha.
Cheers.
Wearing all black.
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
Ain't no time for school today.
Hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut lob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with cart girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phil talking about a guy taking a shit in the cut.
Mahalo!
If we did fireside with Phil.
Fire the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.